Greetings! Happy Earth Spin. Greetings to everyone once again. Today is part 2 of Galactic-Arkana number 1, which is Magician. So following on from part 1, when we were in the cube, if you remember back to this page, which is the eightfold year, which is central to all of my work and the infinity codes themselves. So this was part 1 of the 888 pattern, and today is part 2. So we're now in the lunar codes level, and so here we are. Here's lunar codes level, eightfold year, and the organic seasons, focusing on the codes already provided at the beginning of the lunar level with the ace card. We get the number 89, which is the shorter seasonal sections of the year. So I'll just read it out from the new little book here. So this is card number 60, Lunar 8. Organic seasons, fluctuations. Through naked eye observations tracked over many cycles at several sacred sites, the whole day measurement made between solstice and equinox calculated 89 to 93 days. Go to Earth 8 and Lunar 1. So in this booklet, certain codes connect with other codes. So it's a fractal book. Currently, the symmetry aligns on the solstice. So from top to bottom, summer to winter, is where the axis of symmetry is. So look at the numbers on the geometry. With the perihelion and aphelion at 13 and 14 days after those solstices. One day, the aphelion could be, our entire planet's Independence Day, when we have finally freed ourselves from all forms of slavery. May universal peace prevail. So what am I actually saying here, Independence Day? Well, that's the current day in the United States that they celebrate as their Independence Day. Just happens to be the aphelion for our planet. So I consider these things planetary knowledge. So I think we all deserve independence. Independence Day, really, to be perfectly honest. So that's the card for today, which, like I said, is the second part. But now we're in the lunar level. We're bringing in the Grail. That's right. Because the magician doesn't just have infinity above his head and a wand, he also has a Grail. So, currently in the Grail, I have the cube here. Remember the cube? So I'm taking the cube out of the Grail with my lucky dice roll. I had that lucky dice roll, so that's over here. So I've got my Sacred Grail here, as you can see. It's my Sacred Grail. And into my Sacred Grail I am placing the ICOSA-HEDRON. Because we're now on the watery lunar geometry now. So I've got my... Yes, I have my ICOSA-HEDRON in the Grail now. Yes. So... I'm going to have to go a bit further and deeper into what this information is relating, because, you know, there's only so much information you can cram into small books. Here is the draft edition of my first book, and this was put together in 2015. And there's information in this book that has to be spoken of. In order for the blessing ceremony, which I'll perform at the end, one has to first go into what it is that we are cleansing from the ICOSA-HEDRON. Okay? So, I'm going to be discussing the sacred day of Beltane, which is a very sacred day. Like all the other sacred days in various different traditions, these sacred days hold special significance to the tribe or culture from which they're from. Now, I've written this in my book and I've chatted to people in person about it, but without actually seeing the geometries, we can't actually identify what it is that I'm actually talking about. Because I've said it before, and that is the current day of Beltane is actually currently on the wrong day. Now, I just want to be clear here, from my own understandings and listening to my own intuition, the ancestors are aware of our intentions. So, you know, not everybody is as much a perfectionist with maths as I am, and you know, if you're doing it on a day that's close enough to the day that's one of the eightfold points, and you have good intentions, then it's your intentions that matter. So I just want to be clear here, you know, your intentions are your intentions. So what I'm talking about is deeper undercurrents, which aren't usually spoken about. And this is why I can't celebrate it on that day anymore. I can't. Not out of good conscience. So, what are my scientific reasons for this? Well, if you do have a copy of my book, you can go to this page where you find this geometry here. But this geometry is actually talking about the solar zeniths for the Maya, ancient tribes that then eventually evolved to the Aztecs. There's many different tribes. And if you look at these dates here, okay, what you'll find is that the current day, which is honoured as Beltane, May the 1st, and all of the celebrations around that specific day is workers' rights, May 1st, all these sorts of things. The actual day, it's not aligned to the Wheel of 8, okay? It's aligned to the Wheel of 7. The Wheel of 8 day is the night of May the 4th, going into May the 5th. May the 5th being Old Beltane's Day. And to some people, still, this is the day that they celebrate Beltane, because of being more aware of the undercurrents to all of these different, what I consider corruptions in the timelines. From an Arcturian perspective, that is indeed the situation we're in. So, corruptions of the timelines. How did the corruptions of the timelines take place? Well, in and around the year 1582, you had something called the Papal Bull. Now, this was introduced by the Pope Gregory XIII, and basically it was about removing 10 days from the calendar. And there was quite a lot of uproar when this happened. And for many of the countries that, aligned to the Gregorian calendar, which before that was called the Julian calendar, lots of disagreements. In fact, many places did not even change according to what the Pope had said for almost a couple hundred years, and some of them, a couple hundred years after that. So it's a very, what's the right terminology? It wasn't something that was agreed upon simply and easily. And as I've stated, it was a dictate. It was dictated. Yes? Pope dictators. Okay? Decided this for everybody. And the reason for it is the Julian calendar's leap day was every 4 years. And in order to understand this, it's in my first book, which you can download for free from cyrus.org. And what I go into I'm just going to cover it very quickly here, is going back in time further still to the Roman Empire when it conquered Egypt. Had a very clumsy calendar, and it was only after conquering Egypt that they introduced the leap day. And they even introduced it in a weird way, and they didn't even get it right to begin with. But ultimately, where did this knowledge come from? Well, I have evidence in my book that the actual leap day comes from the Sirius calendar from Egypt, which aligned with the Nile and all the sacred traditions of Egypt. Okay, so that's the first point at which the Roman Empire basically decimated ancient cultures and stole knowledge, and then used it for their own benefit. And Julius Caesar upgraded the calendar using this knowledge, whether he was aware of it or not, coming from Egypt. Rome didn't build pyramids. Okay? So, people with an advanced space architecture that can build massive pyramids potentially have quite a vast understanding of cosmic cycles of time, which I have essentially proven in my book, which is the cycles of 1,461 years and 1,507, which is the Egyptian and Mayan cycles, which I've covered in other episodes online. So, just like when Rome conquered Egypt and then literally immediately after upgraded its calendar, the same thing took place. Bizarrely enough, pretty much exactly one of these great cycles, 1461 or 1507 years after the first time. And that's when what we have is the Spanish conquering the Aztecs. Now, that's part of the Roman Empire. It was the Spanish branch of the Roman Empire. Also, Gregorian calendar followers. Obviously, at that point, it was still Julian calendar. And basically, what happened right after conquering the Aztec Maya peoples and their knowledge and ancestral wisdom, what happened? Yeah, same century, Papal Bull. And the Papal Bull wasn't just about taking 10 days out of the calendar, okay? It was also introducing a new leap day rule. And it just so happens that the leap day rule happens to be pretty much exactly the same as the ancient Mayan Bacton of almost 400 years. Okay? So I'd just like you to contemplate, you think this is all a coincidence? Think again. Do a bit more research and look into history and try and understand things from an Arcturian perspective. is what I'm asking. Now, to take the 10 days out of the calendar and make this day Beltane, okay, basically is dark time magic. It's satanic, and that's what I'm going to be cleansing today. I'll be cleansing myself too, because I've had to carry this awareness for many years, and I've written in the books and I've chatted to as many people about it. I'm letting go now. If nobody's interested in sorting out the timelines, I can't do it by myself. So the current April 30th, May 1st isn't honouring the ancestors. It's actually dark time magic, because this day is actually sacred to the peoples of Central America, the Maya and the Aztecs, okay? Because it's a solar zenith day. And in their traditions, this was the day of no shadows. It's a very sacred day. Okay? And the Gregorian calendar, those days do not align to any of the stone circles here in the Emerald Isles. Nope, not at all. Okay, so the neo-pagans of the modern neo-pagans, you're not actually honouring the ancestors truly. And like I said before, the ancestors can see the good intentions. So I'm not disrespecting the good intentions, okay? But underneath it all, there's something far more dark and satanic that people aren't talking about. And that's what I had to share with you about today. So, there we have the 2 leap day rule upgraded from both these pyramid building cultures, all to do with conquering time with the Roman Gregorian calendar, Julian calendar, etc. Now, going even further, still deeper into the matrix of time, one realizes that this sacred day of Beltane, okay, is a very special day. Okay, if you're looking at the wheel of the year as a symbol of a lifetime, we have birth, reaching adulthood, becoming an elder, and passing away. So birth, life, becoming older, and passing away, which is the wheel of the year. The point of Beltane, okay, is the point of coming of age. Okay, so this can either be seen as the 16. These segments can be measured in 16, or here I've done it as 18. So these are the ages of consent in our modern world. Okay, so this is the point of the wheel of the year, which they've been messing around with. Okay, so this point here is just where they've been messing around. Okay, this dark satanic issue, undercurrent that is being ignored, with all of the horrendous aspects in our world that continue in relation to it. Because it really comes down to this thing called consent and the age of consent. So, not honouring the ancestors and not being aware of the sacred days of the different traditions, and essentially believing in the Gregorian calendar as your god of time, it's over. Yep. Today is Galactic-Arkana number 1, part 2. So that's a bit of a summary there. I could say a lot more about it. I've written about it in my book. There is much more that can be covered in this episode. So I better just find that page. So here it is. Going deeper into the issue we're dealing with here. Again, a symbol which is misunderstood and has been used in the wrong ways. And what day is it that we're honoring the ancestors, apparently? And who decided this? Did you consent, or did you just not think? Or did you just, it doesn't matter? Because the thing is good intentions do mean everything, but on a planetary level, it's something dark and satanic which isn't being actually talked about. Just swept under the rug. Left for someone else to deal with. So you rearrange the dates to the actual eightfold year, and you get the actual days, okay? May the 4th into the 5th. Okay? So feel free to download the book and have a look at all in more detail. So, part 2. Oh, hang on. I think I can hear. Wow. Wow. It's, I think it's someone on the dolphin phone. Hello? Okay. Really? Wow. Wow. Okay, I'm bringing in a bit of Pleiadian energy now as well. Okay. Really? Wow. Okay. Thank you very much, and in Lakesh. So that was the Pleiadians just giving some final instructions on the dolphin phone. So. Wow, the blessings of Obi-Wan Kenobi. Thank you, sir. And I have my own wand here. It has been doing extra healing since the first videos. So I bring it back now to bring that energy into this space from the previous video series. In the name of the I am that I am, I now cleanse the ICOSA-HEDRON with this sacred water. I cleanse it of this curse in the timelines, that I am also free of this curse, and so are we all. In the name of the ancestors, ancient, timeless wisdom, the eternal knot of the infinity codes, 888. Blessed be. So here's the infinity code, so you can see the water in there. Throughout the entire hologram. And so it is. Infinite healing. And so it is. Blessed be. Yeah. Yeah, this is sacred. Yeah, ICOSA-HEDRON was already clear anyway. The Grail's clear, the water's clear. It's symbolic. There's a higher level of intelligence. Okay. So, that's essentially what today is about. The codes of our ancestors transcended the cube and purifying the ICOSA. And just to finish today, I'm going to give myself a baptism to cleanse myself of any remaining negative energy or any sort of connections with anyone or any people or any dimensions that has nothing in resonance to this great work. And I also baptize myself and name myself for you all, Cyrus, Heimdall, Carbon. Yes, this is who I am. Yes. So, blessed be. Thank you very much. Take care. Please study more. I'll just... there's the ICOSA. See the ICOSA here? That's a blessed ICOSA right there. There we go. Blessings. Sacred blessings of the water, cleansing, indeed. Sanctifying, blessing of the sacred geometries of the universe. Thank you. Thank you. Blessed be. That's got to be some of the tastiest water I've ever tasted. So yes, the difference between esoteric and esoteric knowledge. There's like surface layer, like skin layer, and then there's actually what's going on underneath. And I hope I've brought that information across in this video. And I hope to share more on the next Infinity Code Part 3, which is when it's the solar codes, solar 8, and that will be the third level. So, Infinity Codes 8, 8, 8. Blessed be. Blessed be. May peace prevail on our beloved planet Earth. in honor of the ancestors. Thank you for the wisdom, everything you share with me. Thank you for watching. Take care.